Okay, so here we have a typical single-story rear extension, normally with a couple of skylights in the top and across the back. With this type of room, you always have you're always open to a lot more options, and it really is down to the requirements of what you want in the kitchen. Okay. This client had fridge freezer this time, just a 70/30 fridge freezer, oven, microwave, range cooker, 1 meter wide, and sink. So we went through a number of different options with the client customer first of all. So looking at the room as a blank, the first iteration which we went through was having units wrapping around the room like this, and then coming out into the room like a peninsula. Like this. On this then we generally keep the tall units paired together. Over at this back end, the long wall with nothing on it typically gets the cooker. So we've got the range cooker centered on this back wall, like 6 burner. And then we have the sink gravitating itself towards the window as they typically do. Draining board this direction, bins, sinks, dishwashers, etc. And then some additional seating on the back of the island. So in this instance you will have had your fridge freezer, ovens, and run of wall units coming around all the way up to the window line. Now, as it later transpired, this window had to be much lower than worktop height, and the client was erring towards urging towards an island more so than a peninsula. Peninsulas, whether you like them or not, divide rooms. If that's the intended purpose of it, then it's absolutely fine. But don't put one in thinking it's an invisible wall to a degree. It's dividing the two spaces up. The client's requirement for this room was to have kitchen, dining room and snug. I think the way that we had discussed it was actually the opposite of this. We were going to have TV in this wall, L-shaped sofa coming around here, dining room up here with a sideboard coming down the side. So this was option 1. Option 2, because the window then became slightly fluid, we asked them if we could move it over slightly, because it was so low, so it would allow us to get a continuous run of units. So the second option that we had done was units right here with an island. Now, when doing these islands, and whenever you're doing islands, there's a few things we have to take into consideration. One is always the gaps. So we always try and leave a 1 meter gap where we can. That can go down less, but as a rule of thumb, 1 meter is a really good gap to leave. Now with this design, we would have on a 4.4 meter wall, by the time you come off this wall, about 650 at the depth of the units. 650 is the standard depth of most units these days. 650 off this wall. By the time we've come off here, left a gap here, and here you're at 2.6 meters, which leaves you with an island of about 1.8 meters. Now, 1.8 meters is okay of a space, but bear in mind we want to ideally still just have a range cooker on this side, which leaves this room then for the island. So it goes in the middle, right hand side, dishwasher, maybe some bins in this area. In this instance, the island is wide enough, but it's taken up predominantly with a sink. The sink is only 50 centimeters wide, but you'll need to allow the same again for a draining board. So you really only have about a 60 centimeter worktop space on the left hand side of the sink. When we were doing this, the client was concerned about seeing plates and cups, the general mess that lives around sinks on the island. So we had suggested that in this instance we would build up certainly part of the back of it here with units, and then dropping down at this side. So this side is maybe at about 1100 from the floor, and then this dropped down to normal 900 worktop height. Okay, so the client liked that with the island. They liked the units coming along the back wall and not going underneath the window because of the change in height. The only concern was the island was a little bit small, so we went back and we discussed with the builder, and we managed to gain an extra 300 along this wall by manipulating some of these rooms in this area. So what we actually proposed to do is that the cooker and the two tall units that we had here get pushed effectively through into the utility room, and then the rest of this moves on down slightly into this space. That left then a full run across the back wall of 4.4 meters. Now again, working to the same rule of meter gaps on both sides, that gives us an island then which is 2.4 meters. So it's a much healthier space, more worktop space on both sides. Now, the client was also concerned about having the sink directly on here. So in this instance, what we had proposed was that the range cooker went up in this area, and sinks, as they do, gravitate themselves towards light, and in this area. Dishwasher went here. Nice sets of drawers then on both sides of the range cooker. Then on here we primarily had worktop space and seating, so we introduced seating then down the back of the island. There's additional storage. We put an overflow freezer. The fridge was large enough in this, the concern was the freezer wasn't, so we put a small built-under freezer in this area, and then we had some additional storage and some space-saving devices, narrow pull-outs, additional drawers. Across the back. So the overall configuration looked, this was the one that the client actually ended up going for. They preferred this option better, give them the freedom of movement, both ends of the island, good size, 1 meter gaps the whole way around. So, as I say, these things generally take a while to develop. It can always take 2 or 3 plans, 2 or 3 times to get a good idea and a feel for the space. Especially when we have, a big blank wall. It's a question of generally keeping the tall units away from the light, so there's no light being blocked coming up through this wall. So having tall units here, even with that window move, could make this area slightly darker on the worktop. Keeping the tall units away from there, so we're whether they're on this wall or in this area. And then generally we would, if you were to have something on the island, it normally is the cooker. If you have 4 meters of worktop space, that's plenty of room to have both the cooker and the sink in the same room. I'd say anything towards 3 meters is kind of pushing it. You generally want about 2.5 to 3 meters is an ideal situation where you would have the space for one, and then you would suggest moving another one off the range or the cooker to an island. This room, we've got plenty of space to do both.